Okay, so one of the things you have to worry about whenever you're making parts for a company is in the systems of measurement is if the blueprint is made with a conversion. So on this blueprint, which is y'all may be familiar with, I just changed up some of the dimensions. So what we want to see here is if we have a blueprint that has dimensions, like if it's metric or English, it doesn't matter, and it's written at 39.11, and then they write beside it, they'll have reference dimensions. I've seen this on government prints. At EIT it was bad about that. We would get in government blueprints and they would have the metric dimensions that are referenced beside it. If you start looking at this thing and you do 39.11 divided by 25.4, because that's how you get the conversion, it doesn't come out to this, which is what the blueprint wrote on it, has written on there. It actually comes out to this. So if we make it, if we don't do our own math and use the actual measurement and we just go by reference, and if it was a really tight tolerance, you would see we would be losing 7.5 tenths. Now, it may not mean much, but it could be the difference between tolerance fit or not tolerance. So, and then even if we go up higher, let's just use that same reference to where it was 430.54, and they put a reference of 16.94. Let's just say we're too lazy. We get the print, we don't feel like doing our own calculations. You know, if we don't have metric measuring instruments, we only have English, so we're just going to go by that. Well, when it gets to QC and they're going to put it on CMM and they're going to flip it to metric and they're going to read this when the actual is 10 thousandths and 3/10 bigger. So the moral of this story is, whenever you get a blueprint, do not use reference. We saw it at EIT with government prints. We finally had to call the company on it. What happened was their reference dimensions, they had it rounding to 2 places instead of 3, which is what's happening here. So you could potentially lose 10 thousandths. And as you learned in drafting, and hopefully Machine Shop 101, 102, the blueprint is your Bible. You make it by what it says. The reference, what have we learned in drafting class about reference dimensions? It means nothing. You cannot go by them. Don't even look at them. Don't even worry about them. It's just a reference. It means nothing. You take your metric or English, whatever, depending on if you got metric dimension on a blueprint, you got English measuring instruments, you take and convert it yourself and you'll come out to this. Don't use their reference because it could potentially screw the part up. Don't trust anything in parentheses. That's Storytime with Todd.